call?
Councilor Lehman.
Here.
Councilor Marcus.
Here.
Councilor Larson.
Here.
Councilor Kuechly.
Here.
Mayor Swanson.
Here. Reports from department heads, Public Works. Hey, Trent.
Howdy. Well, we started sweeping the streets and cleaning up, getting ready. Honestly think we'll be mowing here, and probably not next week, but the week after. I have a strong feeling, so trying to get everything cleaned up around town. Well, we would have more of the streets swept, but things broke down on us multiple times, but we've been able to fix it. But there's other problems in it, but it's working now. But for looking at possible more problems here later on, that we'll see. I don't know what it's going to cost total, but it's working right now, so
Okay.
that's good.
Cross our fingers.
And then, well, we got some alleys scraped down, the ones that kind of dried up. A lot of them, I think the frost is still coming out of them, so they're wet, but that's kind of the goal next week, is to get into the alleys, hopefully if they dry up. So that's what our goals here are at the moment.
Do you have a recommendation as far as the dripping of water for frost? For bursted pipes? Should we go to the end
I
of the
think as
month?
far as like in the garage and at the school garage there, we've shut the water off. I'm not concerned with those buildings, and I guess I would suggest for citizens to just kind of check their water temp if they have something to do so, to get an idea, but I think we should be good. The temperatures are still low, but they're rising a little bit, not a whole lot, but a little bit they're rising, so this frost's gotta be coming out pretty soon.
Wasn't Tony at like 32 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
He's at 34 today, so.
Yeah. So they're good, they're going up, which is good.
Right. Okay.
I would say check your water temperature, and if you can't check it, you can call the city guys and they can check it for you.
And we do have a digital thermometer,
Yeah.
that's what we check with.
We'll have to decide on an end date.
We've
Or
already.
did we pick the end date? Is it the end of May?
No, end of April.
So now
We're
at this
done.
point, it's a matter of check it and grip it if you think you need to, but
But the temps are going
should
up,
be
so.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frost is still there though,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that goes down.
How often do we test our water, Trent?
as far as temp,
No,
Minerals?
mineral.
well, that's once a year. Yeah, well, we have multiple different tests we have to do throughout the year, but as far as minerals go, that's done by the Department of Health. They come through and then they give us a report on it.
For coliform and
Yeah, that's every 3 months.
3 months.
What about lead? Check that too.
That's once a year, lead and copper, we do that, and to do that is just 10 volunteers in town, take samples and then send them in, and we're always well below the limit.
All right. Anybody else have any questions for Trent? All right, thank you, Trent.
Thank you.
Fire and ambulance, engineering attorney, end of the month. Long-range planning and zoning,
Monday, 7th,
yeah, next Monday.
5/7.
Recreation board,
Be next week.
next Monday, another Monday meeting. Library board, we had a meeting, nothing too remarkable, we're looking at our skylight right now. Gonna get some quotes on repairs and maybe get a new dome put on that. It's a little leaking, but we've got money in our capital fund, so we're gonna just take a look at it and get some estimates at this point. BETA, we had a meeting at the end of the month. Do you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah, we kind of just went over our advertising for the South Industrial Park. That's out and looked really good. Thank you, Ryan and John.
Yeah, let people be aware of it.
right?
Yeah. We do have lots for sale for business and residential, I guess.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Sheriffs, did we get a report or will we get one at the end of the month?
We'll get one in a couple days. Usually they go for the month of April, being
Okay.
today is May 1st.
We'll
Probably
have one
takes
at our
them
next meeting.
a couple days to get that information together.
Okay. Clerk's report.
Just a note in your packets, Stu, with the notice of intent for the USDA, there's also a summary of the meeting that the USDA rep and the engineer and I had, just for your review. And also just a note, next week with our phone systems, our new phones, there's probably gonna be like a 5 to 10 minutes where we're out of service next week when they port the numbers over. So if you do hear anything in the public can know that there's nothing wrong, it's just gonna take that little bit of time to port those numbers
Those
over.
landlines,
Yeah,
and that's just here or all around town?
no, just here, just that's it, just at City Hall.
You're
And
still giving the
service.
same number.
Same numbers and everything,
Yeah.
it'll just,
Fine with new service. Council additions to the agenda will add one request for unemployment benefits by a former employee. Consent agenda, oh, citizens wanting to speak to us. I know you two are on the agenda, so, no, okay. Consent agenda minutes,
I'll make a motion that we accept the regular minutes of April 17th, the special minutes of April 16th, and special meeting of April 17th. Support.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Claims,
Well, I'll make a motion, we accept the claims of $27,733.92.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item A, Buhl All-Class Reunion.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Anita Buhl. I'm a graduate of 1976, and we've had a committee for a little over a year putting this together, and it's getting closer, and we're looking at expenses that are some already incurred, but most of them to be done, and we're wondering if the city would be able to help us out at all. But your first and second pages are what we've given to our attendees, mostly on Facebook. We don't have postage expenses for the most part because this is a word of mouth. If your class is attending, you have to have a representative and get a hold of your own people, basically. And on the third page, the music and entertainment and the stage that we'll have music from noon to midnight, I believe. Yeah, noon to midnight. So it's a variety of things. Our food is, our food expense is Duke's Scorch Barbecue. We're planning on one large tent to bring people in and the welcome tent, and they'll get their information from there. Porta potties, obviously, because pretty sure the bars couldn't handle everybody. Let's see, what else? So what we may need from you to make sure that there's plenty of garbage or dumpsters so that anybody wanting to throw something away can. Will you be able to clean up? Do we need to take care of that?
In the past, Anita, whoever has an event does their own cleanup. I mean,
Okay.
that's just been past practices.
Okay. Can you put up barricades for us so that,
Yes,
We
we can
do
have the
plan
city
on-
crew barricade the streets down there.
okay,
We'd be looking at probably a little more law enforcement coverage throughout.
and that would be covered also? That would be your,
I think we'll take a vote on it, but I would think that for the sake of the citizens of Buhl, we'd want to make sure that there's plenty of protection.
right.
And I
That's
see
it.
that you need a 220 volt, 50 amp supply for the food vendor.
For at least one of them.
Yeah, I wonder if you can,
Most of them said they would have generators, but one guy said he needed an electrical.
contact the bank, the old bank. You know, we can come out of their basement with an extension cord and everything's there. We don't have the poles that we used to have and dress them up. But the old Buhl Bank might be a option to ask them. I mean, we have time to work on this, but maybe contact,
Okay, look into
because we can come right out of their basement window, and that vendor would have to set up, of course, right there on
Near
top of
there,
the hill or
yeah.
in front of the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That would probably make him pretty happy.
yeah.
Because that would be easier for us
Yeah.
than trying to dress up a pole and,
Unless,
Could we do
someone
something down at the
suggested the
curling club?
laundromat.
well, that wouldn't do any good.
Is
That's
the
too far
laundromat
away.
owned by the city now?
Well,
Someone
No.
told me- No?
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
we don't
There's
have the
no power
laundromat
that-
and it's close to being condemned.
Oh, okay, well, that takes care
no,
of
they don't
that.
have power anyhow.
What
Oh,
about
okay.
down at the curling club? Would that be too far off Main
Yes.
Street
Yeah.
for you? you think?
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Although,
It may be
The
an
curling
option
club-
if the bank can't offer you anything, it may be your only option. but-
okay,
But it's something you could consider.
Either
Alrighty.
that or tell the vendor, sorry, get a different one, if it, if it
Okay.
can't be.
And then the band stage and that, they came out of the hideaway the last time they had that set up 10 years ago, whatever they had, I don't remember, but the power came, they just ran cords right out of the hideaway.
Oh, they did?
Yeah. So we didn't do anything there either.
no, I don't think that was a problem, I think Warren had that.
Yeah, they don't use much power these days with musical equipment, not like it used to be back in the
Yeah.
60s and 70s.
Nobody had a generator.
That's right.
Nobody.
So probably just even a 20 amp circuit would do it with a decent
Yeah,
cord.
because they pulled the power out of the hideaway for that band, the band staging.
Okay.
But that would make it a lot simpler if you come out of the bank and they have the power. I mean, our power's still on.
So when they pulled the power out of the hideaway, was the stage across the street from the hideaway more? I don't
Uh,
remember.
Actually, right in the intersection.
It was
down there.
right
In the
between
intersection,
the-
kinda?
I think between the laundromat and the hideaway facing north,
Okay,
weren't they?
Well, they were between the bank and the hideaway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I think we had extra gen set for them too.
okay,
What did you?
all right. So-
Ryan, do you know what our deposit fee is for the curling club?
$200.
All right, because what I would propose that maybe we would let them use the curling club as an alternate site if the weather isn't good with the tables and chairs, but have them put the deposit down in case we need to have it cleaned after the fact. I mean,
On that cleanup deal too, is I can approach Joe at Sense to Serve, depending on how many guys,
We
people,
were thinking that too.
and see if he could be available at least that Saturday and Sunday or Friday, Saturday, or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm thinking probably Saturday, Sunday would do it. We're
Yeah.
not expecting a whole lot of people Thursday night.
So, I mean, sometimes he gets 2 people and sometimes he gets 8 people.
Yeah.
So it's hard to tell, but just if he would slot you guys in that time,
Okay.
I mean, I can ask him, or if you see him, you can ask him too.
I think that the porta potties is something that the city could look at maybe covering as well, because we just don't have enough facilities down in that area for them. And so as a city service, I think law enforcement, porta potties, and the use of the curling club wouldn't be Would be a nice gesture on behalf of the city for the all-class reunion.
I'm assuming you expect some help from the bars?
Yes, we are, we've been asking. And also, the shortstop, although I don't think that the owners have been approached yet. But, yeah, we're gonna beg there too.
Not a lot of businesses left.
Yeah, there's not much left in town to beg from, so.
We'll go out to the industrial park because there's a business out there that's
Thanks for reminding us of that.
So paying for our tent is out of the question, or?
well,
Before you go there, initially, we had heard through the grapevine that the city had set aside money toward an all-class reunion, and I was wondering if that's where these funds would come from, if that was still available.
that money was set aside for, there was $10,000 that had been set aside a few years back for a future all-class reunion. But it's one of those things where we didn't expect our school to be empty for a year and a half, and the expenses of the school run about that every month for the city. And we have no revenue coming in from that building. So we took a real hit. So we're gonna be a little tighter than, I mean, any monies we put aside for anything, we can always bring back to general fund. You know that, you were a clerk. So, but still, this is a big event in our community, and so I think that the council would probably like to do what we could to help out, but there are some things that benefit the whole community, and that is making sure there's sufficient law enforcement, making sure there's sufficient accommodations for porta potties, those kind of things, and so, and whatever the council feels.
Well, basically, we used to have the class reunions before. The two major items were the parade and the fireworks, and they were expensive. I mean, back then it was $8,000 or $9,000 for the fireworks. Now, Stewie said it's like 15 or 18. And then the parade, you know, just the Shriners come up, and that's $5,000, $6,000. And then the high school bands were $800 to $1,000. So the city did put this money in there, because the old people needed probably $20-some thousand, and they did their own fundraising. You know, they had the spaghettis and the...
Were those
gambling.
4th of July events though, too,
Yeah,
Don?
yeah, those were all 4th of July.
So it was all for the community.
So they put this money aside basically for those two expensive items. You know, to give them, I mean, the committee probably would have rose $10,000 to $15,000 to put this event on the way it used to be put on. So the city budgeted and put money aside for those two major events because they were expensive.
Now, last year Denise did come a couple of times and talked about help from the city for this all-class reunion, and at that time she was suggesting that they'd maybe be looking into something like the fireworks. She thought that it was a lot more expensive, and when she heard that it wasn't quite that far out of range, she said it was just something that would have to be discussed, but it was like if there were going to be other activities that were community involved and not just to the reunion itself, that maybe.
Yeah, it was just like Kenny had their centennial thing 10 years ago. I mean, we had, our fundraiser was sold 200 tickets at $100 a piece, or $100 a ticket. And we gave half the money away on drawings, and the other half, that was enough to put on our thing that we had in Kenny. And I suggested that to your past members, but
Yeah, that kind of just went nowhere.
What do you other counselors think about this? What do you think would be,
What's the welcome tent? What's the plan for that if the weather's bad, or if the weather's bad, you're going to the...
Well, it depends on this badness, I guess, I don't know. But, yeah, otherwise we'd have to use the curling club. I mean, you know, you can't invite people, and we're not gonna know what the weather's gonna be like until
Right.
that weekend comes. So, we wait for nice weather, nothing happens, you know?
Right.
So, but yeah,
Well, if we use the curling club, the tables and chairs down there would be available. Would they also be able to be used in our tent if the weather's okay? Is that a possibility?
I would think so.
I don't see why not.
You just have to have people to move them.
yeah,
Right.
We will need to make motions on all of these things that we're gonna do so that we've got it on the record. That's why I really think it's important that each counselor, at least, you know, what you think is reasonable for the city to go with the requests that are being asked for. The only thing on there, Anita, for me is the tent, and I think, well, could the curling club be used as your welcome center point, or where were you thinking about putting the tent?
Well, it's,
Either on the street.
it's gonna probably be near somewhere where this Duke's Garage barbecue is going to be set up, because that's basically where people that have paid their money for this are going to get their meal and then go into that tent to sit down and eat.
I see.
Yeah,
Because if
so,
it's hot weather, it's
Sure.
Nice to
kind of
have a tent.
unpleasant.
yeah,
basically only two spots would be next to the highway, which the highway owns, or just north of the bank. You know, we own that and mow that,
okay.
Oh, you do?
you know, that,
But there's a lot right next to Billy's that's private.
well,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
private, we
Yeah.
can't go there.
No.
This lot is not a good lot.
Someone mentioned actually putting it on the street.
It's right on the street, on the pit side of Billy's.
Right.
You know, in that
Oh.
direction. Where am I? That direction. Yeah, you know,
How do you anchor it?
So there's probably enough holes in the tarp so they
Oh,
can
do you?
hang things in there.
We'll leave that to lefties.
they will
Anchoring is not our
doing it.
problem.
Yeah, they will be coming and installing it.
They're
and
installing it,
everything,
yeah, so this isn't,
So, yeah.
this isn't Joe Blow's tent from his garage. But, is a tour of the school a possibility? Because a lot of classmates have asked about
A
that.
lot of people are asking.
We've been doing quite a few tours for interested businesses.
Oh, okay.
So unless we have somebody who's moving in to take over the school, which I would pray would happen, but if it hasn't happened by that point,
Yeah, I did it last year and the year before, so if you set a time for it and tell people a certain time, yeah, I'll be around. Like Friday afternoon work.
Yeah.
so John will be your go-to guy, as long as we don't have a committed business going into that school or something happening, because if it's already taken, of course, then we can't be intruding
Right.
on it. So,
Then we would have to ask whoever owns it, okay. We're anticipating having handouts for each person that shows up, but, and we're wondering if those copies could be, if we could use your facilities for copies, or would the libraries, I'm talking free copies here.
For
Would it be
flyers and that?
Yeah, for flyers and,
Yeah.
you know, just to tell people this is more detail what's going on.
how many copies are you talking, Anita?
Well, we don't know an exact
know
amount
yet.
yet, because not until everybody gets their money in.
Sure.
So,
Right now, we have about 200 people.
I would say, and we're guessing because people do things last minute, you know,
In the neighborhood of 400?
yeah. Just based on what's gonna happen between now and then. Well, you know, we put the push out to get people to get their money in by the end of May, but there are a lot of people that procrastinate, so.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And then city contact the academy and police academy and Hibbing for, because that's, in the past, we've had kids that are going to school to be a police.
Law
They
enforcement.
came over and they were a lot cheaper.
Oh,
Oh,
sure.
absolutely, yeah, that,
So I don't know if you want, we could have Ryan
That-
call Hibbing, JC, or then see if, you only need a couple of them. You
Yeah,
know, a couple for Friday, maybe a couple for Saturday, and then usually the sheriffs they only needed a sheriff here.
Well, and since we contract with them, we could just make sure that that's a date preferred for us, that we want that date.
Yep.
in
Oh.
And
particular.
especially for Saturday.
I've already mentioned that. to
Friday's
you.
Saturday's the,
Yeah.
will be the
Far enough
busier
in
day.
advance.
Yeah.
Saturday, you're gonna get people from outside of what's going on, because of what's going on downtown.
Right,
Friday, you won't.
right. Yeah, because of the music, right. And no fire department members here?
No, nobody from the fire department is
Or
here.
the rec
Anita.
department?
Well, Stu's here.
Well, but Stuart couldn't answer on behalf of the fire department, could you, Stuart?
No, not
No,
totally.
we wouldn't want to be put in that position, I don't think, but, you know, they meet on.
We'll have a meeting next Monday night.
If you want to, if you have questions, I talk to Josh all the
Okay.
time these days.
Yeah, yeah.
And also the rec department, if not that, we need anything from them, but if they want to be a part of the celebration and maybe have an ice cream social,
At our,
or,
at our last rec board meeting, we talked about that idea, and with all the stuff you guys got going on, we didn't think that we could, you know, if we did something and you guys got so much going on that,
oh, okay.
you know, we were thinking that, we didn't know if you guys, them people would be bringing kids, really,
Not,
I don't think so.
it's,
so we,
the last graduates were 1984, so.
Yeah,
so we come up, we figured we wouldn't do anything
Okay,
because it's not really a kid event
Yeah.
or whatever, so.
yeah, I
And you
think,
guys got so much going on anyway. that-
I think the one suggestion that was brought up to me was if the rec department could, set up like, what are these called, holy board tournaments down towards the pit or, you know, in the street or something. I don't-
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, like
Hol-
beanbags
Holy
or-
board, yeah, the beanbag, what are they
Beanbag
called?
toss?
Holy board tossing things, I don't know what they're,
We've got volleyball nets out at the beach.
yeah. But
And
that's
picnic
fine, I mean,
tables.
you know, we just figured if you
Yeah, I
guys
told-
wanted to do something.
If
but-
you had them and people brought them, I'd just put them on by, ask the hideaway.
Sure.
that's true.
I mean, it's perfect. It's high ground, you know, right by the sidewalk there. I don't know, that,
Yeah, that's true
I
too.
mean, the park has too many, the little park on the side, the other side has too many trees in there. You know, that set up beanbag thing.
Uh-huh,
So,
yeah.
Do we have extra garbage cans?
Do we
Yeah,
have
we
it?
got canisters, we
We have a bunch.
have a bunch.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we could put a few extra down on Main Street for them. A couple anyway.
At our last meeting, we found out that one of the persons who was going to give out rides on their pontoon boat on Lake Buhl backed out. He was worried about liability. So I guess our question for you is, as a committee, do we have liability? Do we need an umbrella policy for the weekend?
That's something Ryan would have to look at
Yeah,
for you.
call it
I
legal.
don't,
Yeah,
yeah, Ryan can look into that for you, Anita.
Thank you. And the cost of that.
Now, have you spoken to the bars about, are people going to be outside with alcohol?
I would imagine, because the streets will be blocked off.
Then-
Is that an issue? Is that a
Well,
problem?
I think that, do they have to extend their liquor license out into the street or something like that, John?
Unless they sell
It
it.
seemed to me that there was something,
We've done it before, so
yeah,
it's.
just talk to them down there. Laws change all the time, just make sure that they're aware that you're planning to have that and make sure that, because I think their insurance carries over to, you know, the drinking in the streets, and if there's anyone who
Oh,
trips and
okay.
falls and gets hurt or something happens, that
okay.
there's already that coverage that,
What if the tent blows over and kills someone? Is that the tent guy's problem?
I would think so.
Okay, all right.
Still got a lot of questions that need answering.
I
A
have
lot
a
of
nervous
these-
sister, she put it in my head yesterday.
You know, a lot of the questions, though, I would say just call Brian, because
Okay.
he's really our go-to guy, and he's good about finding answers.
Okay.
And this isn't something that we come across very often, so
Right,
we're not
right.
gonna have a lot of the answers for you
Okay.
from up here. So, really, the main thing right now is looking at some funds to help you out. Does anybody have any suggestions, what they think?
Do we have an idea at all for law enforcement, or as far as?
I mean, basically, I talked to Lieutenant Ackerson when he was in here, and he had planned to schedule our regularly scheduled shifts and make sure there's someone in town Friday and Saturday for sure for that event. And I mean, I can definitely check with Hibbing to see if just for maybe Saturday night, it looks like is the
Yeah.
big night with all the
Yeah.
bands, just having maybe 2 security guards around, but,
I think the last time there was a lot of them here, and they,
Well, that just happened because there was an incident at the beach and they ended up coming
Oh,
downtown. They weren't scheduled for it. We hired one additional law enforcement officer for that street dance. So, we can look into the law enforcement part of it and see what that's gonna cost. But I would think that if we can get a couple of officers at a reasonable point and the porta potties, bring the extra garbage bins down there for them, let them cordon it off downtown. Tours of the school, if the school is still empty. The use of the curling club. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I would still suggest maybe there be a deposit put down, but if you wanna waive, that's up to you guys.
I guess if you're giving them money for one thing, why charge them for another? That's my
The things
feeling.
that are city-related is what I'm looking at. The tent is something I think that's exclusive to their party. So I wouldn't be inclined to go there, but I don't want Anita getting mad at me either, so.
I'm talking
No.
more the deposit on the curling.
Waiving
club,
that,
if
yeah.
you-
Just waiving that and
It's only
$200, yeah.
doing that.
Count this
Well,
out.
and hopefully it'll be cleaned up and it wouldn't be an issue anyway.
If someone comes and
And if they bust up
Seats,
tables or chairs, that gets expensive.
I would be happy to at least go half on the tent.
Okay.
I'd make a motion that we offer you to cap it at $1,500. You know, you've got $650 on the porta potties. Some of that money can use for the tent and, but that's the cap.
So with that too, then they can pay for their copies, or are we gonna allow them free use of machines and copies up here, or?
Well, they can pay for the ink.
But,
We'll do the paper.
I guess one suggestion,
There.
if you don't mind, I mean, obviously the city got a new copier, we still have that old copier that is functional.
Oh, just put ink in it.
Yeah, just put
Oh.
ink in it if, you know, we could hook it up someone's house,
Good solution.
wherever. I mean, the council's willing to donate the use of that copier printer.
Perfect.
Yes.
How much does toner for that cost, Ryan?
I still
You don't
think we
know.
have extra toner for
Oh,
it too,
okay.
that,
That hasn't been used up. Okay.
$35-40
Yeah.
quite a few copies.
Oh, yeah, you can get
because I do know with our copier, if we do go over our allowance, we start
Yeah.
getting charged per copy, and that
I remember that.
can add up in a hurry.
Real papers,
Sure.
$3.
But if we have this one it's still functional, it's just not functional for what Diane and I use it for, but for making
Perfect.
individual copies, I think it's more than suitable.
Okay.
Well, we can even just leave it set up here. When
Yeah.
you guys need to run it off, you use that copier.
That too.
Okay, that'd be
Perfect.
great, thank you.
So porta potties, law enforcement. Did you make that a motion, John? To cap it at 1,500?
Yeah.
Is there support for that? Anybody else have any ideas about what they think we should do?
I guess my suggestion would, especially for the porta potties, rather than having the committee, order them, get the invoice, then turn it back over to the city, why not just have the city order them and take care of them and send the bill that way?
Sure.
I mean, because I believe they had a,
If we're gonna allow for it, then that would be the way to do it, is just to purchase it through the
Okay, we'll
city.
keep the 1,500, but these expenses, we'll just subtract them from that 1,500?
That was,
Instead of giving you the
The
1,500?
porta potties,
As these bills
possible
come
more
in,
law
That's
enforcement.
where the money will come from?
Well,
We've gotta decide which expenses we're willing to take on for the city.
I was gonna make a motion that we, do the garbage cannons, the barricades, the curling club, the porta potties, and law enforcement. We'd cover that for,
For the event.
yeah.
Sounds reasonable, Stuart.
Is that a support?
That's a support.
Any further discussion?
Well, I would still give them a couple bucks on that tent, even if it's a third of the expense,
They,
$400.
yeah, them get,
Let's go half and park paving will pay the other half.
Oh,
Now, I grew up here too.
yeah.
There.
If you're willing.
If,
Do you want to amend your motion
I'll
to
have
that?
my motion.
And also, I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. There you go.
thank you.
You got a good start to the whole thing now. Good luck with it. I know it's been a lot for you guys to take on.
I only worry
wish you
one day at
good
a
weather
time.
and a good turnout.
Do you need my phone number or?
Yeah, so the city's, you guys are splitting the tent then, the city and park paving, is that
Yes.
what I heard? Okay, Paul, what's your number?
Oh, I can write it down for you.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Doesn't want his
Gotta move on
number
with our
broadcast.
agenda.
So if the city pays for half the tent, can we tell them that, just send you the bill and then there will be no tax?
Well,
Would that be possible?
and then
Paul would be
Paul,
able
you
to.
could square up at City Hall here.
That
Can we
works.
do that?
yeah,
We'll make that work.
Yeah.
Because you guys don't get your tax exempt, right?
All right.
Right, yeah.
Okay,
So,
sounds good.
and this invoice is okay for you guys for porta potties?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay to use
We'll
that?
order those through the city as well. So,
because we have the park and the
Okay.
beach, we'll have the same people. I'm not sure if those are the same people we use, but
we'll make sure that you have
Yeah.
outdoor facilities down there, okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you
Thanks a
so
lot.
much.
Thanks.
Really appreciate it.
we'll see you at the end of July.
Okay,
Meetings are happening all the time, Don, you're welcome.
everybody's welcome. Thank you very much.
You bet. Alright, agenda item B, USDA notice of intent. We've got this grant kind of in process here.
Yep.
We will need a resolution. We're just waiting to find out, did we find out any more with the televising?
No,
Oh, we haven't gotten together to go
We
over
have a meeting.
findings yet.
we have a meeting Monday,
Right,
so me and Stewie will probably know more Monday along with Ryan.
Yeah.
Last I know, they had, the quarter of it left,
right.
so.
Yeah. Basically, just through discussions with the engineer, we were waiting to kind of finalize what we're going to, put on our application in case we needed to add something that was
Right.
pressing.
With that.
And then what's in front of you is part of applying for these grants is you need to publish a notice of intent to fill out an application in your paper. So this is the first part of many parts to this USDA grant.
So, for now, we want to
We'll just
make
need
a
a
motion to
publish the notice.
the notice of intent.
I would make that motion to publish the notice of intent for USDA.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. The wellness grant we receive every year, $330. This year, we normally use the money to buy Buhl water out here, so. But we do need a motion to spend the money that way.
I'll make a motion that we take the $330 and buy some Buhl water.
City Hall.
I'll support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And it looks like Ryan needs to get more training.
Yep.
This is good. I saw this come up too, I get the emails, so.
Very good.
This is a conference for clerk orientation, and it's in St. Cloud from June 20th through 22nd. The cost is $275 plus $99 per night, 3 nights lodging. We've never not encouraged our employees to go for more training.
Yeah. And just to know that this one's put on by the League of Minnesota Cities, who's
Right.
a huge resource
Oh,
for
yes.
the cities involved.
Their
So
conferences are always good. You will learn a lot.
being my first year, I think it'd be beneficial.
Yes,
Yes.
I agree. Did we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we send Ryan at the cost of $275 plus the $99 per night for 3 nights.
Support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. All right, we have an update on the water temps, so as we discussed earlier, if you're in an area where it's problematic, maybe keep testing, and if you're not sure, you can contact City Hall and they can come and check for you.
Yeah, I tested before you shut it off. You know,
If you have issues,
yeah,
The frost is on its
if you
way
have
out.
past history with it,
right?
leave it run.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, last item on the agenda is a request for unemployment benefits by an employee. Our attorney has recommended that we appeal, but we'll need a motion to do that. There's a 10-day time frame, so it has to be done at this meeting. Could I have that motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And that's it.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.